like how long that's been going on. It blows me away.
Yeah.
Like, I admire Jay so much for his length of episodes, and then like we're getting like we're kind of like on his tails now. So, hey Robert, good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us. We're gonna have a good time tonight. I'll do my best. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll say that a couple of more times. Good to have everyone with us that will come in tonight. Leading up to the big holiday tomorrow. It's going to be, always do. Thank you so much. I'm joined, as always, on Wednesday by the lovely Evelyn.
Hi, guys.
So, any special plans for the holiday, Evelyn?
Well, we're frying a turkey tomorrow, and
frying the turkey. Okay, so I've never done that. So
I haven't either. So it's gonna be an adventure for everyone involved.
Thank you, Mystical Unicorn Manda, for the sub. Oh, Constructed Chaos. Hello, sir. Constructed. I don't know if you've actually seen us actually play D&D yet. We do that on Sundays and Tuesdays. Our Wednesday stream, it's more of a chat. It's kind of a DM, viewer chat. Loremaster's Arcanum. Hey, sup, monkey. Good to see you.
Yes, I am going to make sure that the turkey is fully defrosted. I know. I know that can be quite exciting otherwise.
Would it explode?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. You should do that.
No, I don't want to set my lawn on fire. Too bad.
Esther would love that.
I mean, she might, and then she would be really sad if our house burned down because all the toys are inside. So
that's fair. That's fair. Hey, Steve. Good to see you, sir. Happy Thanks, Winston, to you as well. Yeah, I know, Constructed Chaos. I looked for you in our chats on the actual gameplay days, and you haven't caught us yet, but I'm sure at some point you will, and no worries, no guilt, man. This is just a light-hearted chat we're going to have tonight talking about NPCs and PCs and roleplay and bringing characters to life. And I'm exhausted, so I may not bring anything to life tonight, so we'll just see how that all goes.
Maybe some undeath.
Yeah, it could be some undead. Hey, Fraley! Yeah, Fraley, super active. Thank you so much for all your help last night, Fraley. You were a very active chatter. Welcome among the mad chatters. I still need to get that emoji up. I'm going to get that up tomorrow.
On the
mad chatter on Discord, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
And the hype one. And the hype.
The hype and the mad chatters.
People to hype things in chat.
So maybe you could pop our Discord in if anyone's not in yet. Oh, and the dinosaur. Miss Amanda, why? No dinosaurs on Blue Box. Why do you guys fight me on this so much?
Using the standard dinosaur emojis that just come with every emoji.
All the time, yes.
I mean,
Steve loves to taunt me with those.
I was gonna say Bloodwild is the main culprit.
Yeah, he is. He's the principal culprit. He is.
And it will look beautiful, I am sure, man.
And no, if you send me a dinosaur, it will get melted on stream. So please don't waste your artwork. I do not want a dinosaur for my game. I am against dinosaurs in my D&D. Yes, I know they're canon. I know they're in some of the original books. They're just not for me. All right. And let's click over to our sponsors. I don't have the sponsor page here, so I'll kick off here.
Yes, you are, Phantom.
And, of course, the amazing new sponsor, Cozy Gamer. Hang on, she's not live with audio. Looks live with audio. I'm not going to fight it tonight. I don't care. There she is. You can see her. You can't hear her.
Her dice is,
her dice are rolling.
Her dice are amazing.
They're quiet dice tonight, yes. And then all of our other great sponsors, Dragon Crafting Guild and Yes, the audio is not working.
Oh, they can hear it though.
They can?
I'm glad that you guys can.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, okay, glad you guys hear it.
It's one of those days apparently.
Yeah, apparently. That's all that matters. As long as you guys can hear it. Dragon Crafting Guild. Look at these amazing trays. John is incredible. He does all of this, like, that's crazy sort of work that he does. And they are guaranteed to roll more nat 20s. Except, not really. But actually, I think they do. So,
yeah.
What? Hey, Triple A. Yeah, you can. Hey, Triple A. Good to see you. And all right. So, video is live, and we're just gonna have a fun talk tonight. Thank you again to all of our sponsors, Mantic Games, makers of Terrain Crate. Oh, thank you, Lord Gasumba, Jay Scott. We have some amazing things. We have a charity stream coming up in early part of 2021, and then we have GaryCon in March of 2021, and we're going to be a big part of that. It's going to be a huge opportunity for us to grow the community, and we are so thankful to Lord Gazumba, who has been a great sponsor and friend of our show. The charity stream is going to be March 24th through 28th, I think, or real close to that next year. No, that's GaryCon, pardon me. The charity stream's in February. Jay can probably pop it in. Yep, February 19th and 20th. So that's the charity stream, and then GaryCon in late March. So all kinds of good stuff coming up. Underdark Uprising is the charity stream. So you're going to be seeing some Underdark Uprising here on Blue Box in February. And then, of course, you will see GaryCon. And GaryCon is going to be great. Jay has been so good. He and I have talked a number of times. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So, Mantic Games, Terrain Crate, Atris Minis, Frederica Draws, all of our great sponsors. We're so thankful to them. And this topic tonight, Evelyn, was actually your suggestion. Yes. So I'm going to let you start us off tonight. What would you like to talk about?
We're looking at roleplay, specifically because, D&D is a TTRPG. It is a tabletop role-playing game, and roleplay is a big part of that. And so, we think a lot of times about the player characters, but sometimes we leave out the other half. The NPCs are also role-played by the DM. So the idea is kind of looking at how roleplay is consistent and how to do it well, and how to really incorporate it into the game. And you don't have to be an amazing role player to have a fun time with Dungeons and Dragons, but it adds a little bit of extra something to the game for sure.
No, exactly. And so we have both Jay. We also have Anna B. Meyer on with us tonight. Anna, the maker of all these most gorgeous Greyhawk maps. I have one on my wall now. And so before I jump into my pontification and our collaboration, I want to throw this out here for Anna and Jay. Because they are such great role players. They played the game for so long. When you're working with NPCs specifically, what do you do? And I'll tell you my challenges in a second. I have a reason I'm asking this. What do you do to help create consistency and depth to your NPCs, Anna and or Jay? And the reason I say this is, as a DM, I run dozens and dozens of NPCs. You'll see on some of our sessions, I might have 8, 10, 12 NPCs or more that I have to run in one session. And making them, consistent and deep and contiguous is a challenge. I would love to hear what Anna or Jay have to say on this topic before I jump in and give my paucity of knowledge.
They need flaws.
Flaws. Okay, flaws. Agree with that. The foremost Lord of Greyhawk. That's right, Steve.
Motivations.
Add motivations and quirk to the stat blocks.
Smart.
Okay. No, I like that. I do that too. So let me be more specific, and maybe this is more a challenge to the way I play the game. Consistency when you're playing those NPCs from sessions. I have to go back sometimes and rewatch. What was my voice for Byrne? What was my voice for Galen? How did I roll? So I've actually started keeping a spreadsheet more recently of the NPCs, not just with their motivations, but also their voice acting, their descriptions. Now Jay doesn't do a lot of voice acting, so he's going to give the words of the NPC, but he's not necessarily voice acting, so that's easier for him. I've not watched a lot of Anna's DMing. Record the sessions. Okay, yeah, we have a realistic background. Exactly, yes. Good story. That's my whole point. I mean, one of my favorite NPCs was Galen, and watching Millie. Tell the stream what happened to Galen, Millie, because I know that bothered you a lot.
Well, so poor Lieutenant Galen, he was killed by the paling about 4 sessions ago now, probably, maybe 5. So he had been a character that was attached to, as far as like he was part of the men in Hamlet of the Guard, but in our session 0 of his campaign, we left. Lieutenant Pels had given us our initial quests that we went on, and then Galen actually worked for her, and so he had been kind of our liaison for a good chunk of the beginning of the campaign. Right. And Millie had a bit of a flirtation with him, and
well, flirtation. I think it went beyond flirtation, didn't it?
But I am trying to be polite about it.
No, it's fine. There was an evening dalliance,
yes,
I think.
Yes, there was a dalliance. But yes, he was in fact killed by the paling a few sessions ago, and Millie kind of blamed herself for that because she felt like, had she not had that dalliance, he might have been alive still. So, yeah.
No, that's great. And so, thank you for that. I want to look back through the chat. So, Anna, I know you don't do much voice acting, but I love your comment there. Give out XP for player session logs. I do that. My players get XP, and this is a challenge with our kind of campaign because we have so much role play. Sometimes there's little combat, but we'll go, like last night was a good example. Fantastic role play. There was 0 combat until the very end. Right. Combat was kicked off, but I give role play or XP out for that role play, and it is an important part of that interaction. Fraley said, some NPCs need to be trustworthy, yes, and others not so much. Keep the. Oh, you are right up my alley, Fraley. I love deceitful NPCs and tricky NPCs, and you can ask not just.
Never.
I know, but not so consistently that you mistrust everyone, right? So I have good and honest NPCs. But those tricky ones, they keep the players guessing. That's right. They must be realistic. Moose said, quick summary of the backstory. All right, so Moose, tell me about that. So I never give a backstory immediately with my NPCs. I want the players to uncover that. Are you saying when you introduce your NPCs into a game, you'll actually give the backstory? And while we're waiting for his, you love to hear John do a Mind Flayer voice. It's kind of the Mind Flayer with tentacles is coming, Steve. Absolutely. I do player logs, Anna. Yes, absolutely. That's how I keep track of all the good things they do. When you can ask my players, when I send them XP, I don't just say, you get 7,000 XP. I give them a little itinerary of all the things they did, their role play, their feats, their combat accomplishments. That is critical to me. We're going to pull up some Dragon Mag stuff as well. I've got some Dragon magazines ready to go tonight. They've got lots of good content for how to role play and keep the ROLE in the ROLL. But yes, Phantom, your current campaign is 70% role play, 30%. Well, I think that's pretty good.
That's a good. Yeah, I feel like that's a decent balance, honestly. I mean, and it of course it depends on the group and the DM. Some people prefer that balance to be a little flipped, but that's a good place to live, I think, as far as
I think RP. So. Yeah.
And RP can be a big part of combat too. I mean, it definitely spices it up.
That's what I love. Yes. Yes, go ahead. So let's talk about that before I bring up our Dragon magazines. His XP is the Diaries of a Murder Hobo Shop Hunter. So look, here at Blue Box, we do a lot of role play inside of combat. Millie, you are great at this. So talk to me about that. Like, what do you think a DM? Either what you've seen me do or what you think I could do better. Also, what a player can do. How do you keep role play in combat?
Well, I think, because I did a little, I've been doing more of this, I think, as I've been getting more comfortable with Millie both and Irda as well. But, like, you know, once you kind of understand your character and the mechanics of how they work, you know, being able to think, okay, how would this person respond in this situation? And, you know, like, and not just what they say, but how they do things, you know, because that's part of the role play as well, because it's not necessarily talking every time, especially in combat. I mean, like, Millie will make the occasional sassy quip because that's what she does. That's who she is.
Millie's sassy quips are the best. We love those.
But, like, I mean, just being able to say, you know, like, for example, with Irda, where she was getting beaten down by the stone giants, just completely pummeled, and her, like, looking up with the blood trickling out of the side of her mouth, like, describing that, and, like, and then her looking up and, like, challenging this giant in front of her, you know, that adds to the moment. It's not just like, I just attack him. No, there's all of these things that, like, is building up to that moment that make it, I think, more interesting, and just adds that, like, descriptive element, that narrative element that you need in combat. Because for me, as a player, I like my combat to feel more like not separate from the story, if that makes sense. Like,
no, it does. Yes.
A lot of times and when I played with a previous DM before I played with John, the combat was it felt very separated from the rest of the story. Like, it was like, okay, we're telling the story and now we're gonna stop and fight some stuff, and it's all mechanical. And for me, I like being able to describe, like, I pull out a bit of this and I cast this spell and this is how I'm doing it. Or like with Rory and Thomas, they both like to, like, they actually use like spell words, or like they come up with magic spells.
I love that. So I'd say I'm sorry to interrupt you real quickly. I think you and Thomas, and then Rory third, have been the best at actually introducing these words, the arcane words, into spellcasting, where it feels so real. You were the first one to do it on my stream, and it's great.
Yeah, because I started doing that with my cleric, actually. I was doing all of her spellcasting in Elvish whenever she, like, will cast something. And that was the first time I'd ever done that, and the very first time we did it was not on stream, and I was completely nervous because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. But, it, you know, once you get, like, into the moment, it just feels really cool, and it helps, like, I feel like, tie your character more to...
Okay, I could not agree more. And so Constructed Chaos is a great new stream. They're on with us tonight. We rated them last week, and I've watched what they do. So would you be okay, Evelyn, giving us a bit of your role play with some of the... You've done Elvish in our Fourth Age campaign with Lord of the Rings, when you are playing that amazing character. You've done some with Irda, some with... No, not Millie, really. But so give us a quick role play of casting a spell.
Of casting a spell? Okay, well, I guess my best... Oh gosh, I'm trying to think.
I'll give you a sound effect, so don't worry. You got cover.
All right. So I'll use Maratholiel as mine, because I can
Good
at
one.
least remember some of the spell words that I've used for her. So she's, like, cast. I think it was actually prayer to bolster the allies, and then weaken the enemies. It's Huril Nuin Natho Win, I think is what the actual phrase was.
No, and that is so much fun, because when you do that, it creates a sense of realism. I love it when the players look up arcane words, magical languages, and throw those in. That's so much fun in roleplay. All right, Fraley. Yes, you're right. I want to go back to what you said. You said a bit ago. You caught my. Okay, you said you had sessions where it was all roleplay and 0 combat. Thank you, Cannibal Eridar. Welcome to the Mad Chatterers. The Mad Chatterers is the most fun group to be with on Twitch for D&D. So we have had several sessions where there was no combat.
Right.
We have also had several sessions where it was all combat. Mm-hmm. And as a DM, you don't script that. You want the players to choose. So for example, last night, my players could have moved out of Hamlet much more quickly. In fact, I was trying to push them out.
That was Shorewin.
No, sure, because I messaged Shorewin earlier, like, out. I had a whole plan. I had a whole like, Jay and I had talked, cool stuff. But the players were just a bit recalcitrant and were not moving that quickly. And you have to let them do that because you never want the players to feel like this is a choose-your-own-adventure book, you know, that they're turning pages on and they're stuck with whatever you want.
Well, and the thing is, like, we had seen the news, like what Byrne had said to Shorewin in the chapel in the text RP, but the rest of the party didn't witness that. So until Shorewin actually told us what had been said, like, I couldn't, like, as I was thinking, as Millie, she doesn't know to be motivated to move yet. So I was waiting for that motivation to happen, like that information that says, okay, we need to go now. Because otherwise, I didn't want to metagame it, you know. No,
so. That's perfect. And yeah. I think this is, if I'm going to be like completely candid, I think this is the difference between DMing and Twitch DMing.
Yeah.
Because when I DM without Twitch, without streaming, I never worry about it. I know if my players are having fun. If there's no combat, I can see their engagement. It feels great to me. When I finish a stream and I've been on Twitch, I'm like, oh crap, there was no combat, there was no battle, there was no, and I don't know if my viewers are going, let me go somewhere else because I missed the battle. So I'd be curious because we got a lot of we've got a good group here on already viewing us. When you see us run, like last night, no combat. Is that okay with you, or do you feel like you really want to see combat pushed into virtually every episode? Hey, drunken heretic. Tommy was at one shot. Exactly. Asher the Bear, Redbeard. Bloodwild. Steve said he likes the language of magic. Yes, yeah. I love it when my players do that. In fact, I give them extra XP. So when I push out XP, if they've used arcane words and languages of elves, or even what Brim did last night with the hill giant and speaking giant, that was all. I give them extra XP for that. Well, you love last night's episode. So Hutchback, thank you. Without a single fight, you still loved it. And when the story world pulls you in, John, Dragon Crafting Guild with us, with his amazing dice trays. Right. The role play feels natural, yes. It's going to be the game as combat set needs to be. Constructed chaos set, I'm probably a bit biased. I love combat as long as it's motivated. I prefer the RP. No, hey, Roger. Yes, that's it. And when you run combat, for me, well, hang on. Let me shut up for a second here. So Evelyn.
Yes.
No, don't laugh when I say let me shut up. That's not nice.
No, Steve made me laugh.
No, you're playing it off.
No, literally, look at the comments.
I know. I see Steve. I see. He did Gimbal versus Brim's dirty feet.
Sorry, that's what I was laughing about.
I know. It was really good. By the way, again, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We're not going to be on too long tonight, but just a little bit of a DM chat with the players and the viewers. And I've got actually a couple of questions I want to ask all of you in a moment. But back to you, Evelyn. How would you describe No, ban CJ password 28. We don't do that here. We don't buy viewers. We earn them the right way.
Thanks, Steve.
Big on. All right, so combat. Tell our newer viewers, because we have some, like if they tuned in last night, they've never seen combat on Blue Box. What is combat like? How do you put role play into combat?
Well, I mean, as far as like for any of us really, just keeping consistent to how your character would do things in combat. And like their personality, their fighting style, things that are completely determined by their history and how they would approach something in a combat situation. For example, let's see. I don't want to try to think. Like most recently, Lilith turning into the bear and just kind of like charging at something because she saw that Millie was really close to the Death Knight and stuff, and that was logical in her way of dealing with that situation, and then her doing with the bear voices and her actually like pulling Burn down and getting on top of him. Like it was, I mean, and even though that wasn't technically a combat moment,
right,
that was still kind of a combat moment. So, keeping those things consistent through, even from the way you hold, like you described the way your character holds their weapons or how they attack something or how they cast their spells or, all of those things can be a big part of keeping that role play and staying true to that character through all of your combat sessions. I mean, way back at the beginning, I had John actually ask me if I was sure I wanted to do something because Millie wanted to run along the wall and make a jump over this bunch of spikes. And he was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, because that's what Millie would do." because my other characters...
It was along this wall right here. Yes.
Because my other characters would not do that, but Millie would. And that was a funny thing because, like, at the end of the day, that was something that was consistent in combat for her character to do. Even though it might have not been the wisest decision as a player, I could have ended up impaling my character that night. But, I had to go, okay, what is her motivation here? She's trying to get somewhere very fast to attack the next person. So that's what she would do. So yeah.
No, I love that. And so one thing to add, as a DM, and everybody has their own style. So I'm not trying to preach to any other DM that doesn't like this style. But for me, in combat, the DM should role play. The monster doesn't just swing his sword and hit 7 damage. You take a hit. It slices. No. I role play the monster. The hill giant. I think the one last night at the very end. I will slice you. I will pull your fruits off, and then when they do the club strikes you in the hip, you feel a crack. Your entire side collapses. You fall. You make the role play part of the combat, and I think a DM's job, at least, well. No, I'm not trying to be parochial or sort of, but my idea of DMing is that you make the combat come alive with your descriptions of the blows. It's not a hit, 7 damage. It's a slice to the arm, cuts open part of your leathers. You see blood seeping out of your bicep and down your arm. It's hard to hold the grip of your blade. It's things which are descriptive to make combat more fun. This is not about NPCs or PCs, so I don't know how I got on that topic, but anyway.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, monsters and like the things you fight are technically NPCs. I mean, they may be the things we're in combat with, but they are still non-player characters. They still have backstories. They still have motivations. So, and the role play in that is part of that. So I don't think I think it would be a disservice to discredit your monsters for having personalities.
No, exactly, and even for players, just like, oh, you take 7 damage, you do 12 damage, you take 14 damage, you take no. Where's the fun in that? Like make the combat come alive. All right, so really good bad guys. This is Dragon Mag 184. For any new DM, Constructed Chaos. I don't mean to be cocky. I don't know what you know. I don't know how much but if you have not pulled up the archive, you can get all these old Dragon magazines. They are rich and deep with information. NPCs to the rescue. As an example here, in 184, courts and courtiers. I'm using this actually right now in my Rune Lords campaign. You've got ideas on how to flesh out royal courts. You're not going to get this in any sort of a 3.5 or 4E or 5E. This will only be found in these old Dragon magazines because you had 20 years of fantastic content. You have these charts. Activities, ball, masquerade, public procession, hunting, falconry, holiday, uproar, or come down here, another table, all of the hirelings that you can have. These are so fun to use, and I use them all the time in my campaigns, and these will bring your NPCs to life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Evelyn, so... any questions in the chat I've missed?
Let's see. It just looks like...
Yes, Fraley. A monster bites you. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
You feel the piercing teeth of the monster sink deep in your thigh. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what a DM should do. That role play brings combat to life.
Well, and it's immersive for the players too. It helps them stay in the headspace of that. Like, oh, suddenly I've been, you've been struck. Okay, that doesn't really matter. I've been hit somewhere. Versus, you've been, their blade deeply sinks into your side. So like, I find that I actually I tend to react to that as a player. Like I feel it.
Yes.
As the
yes.
character.
You feel it. Yes. Exactly.
Say you were slashed, or you had a magic missile hit you in the face.
You take 10 points of piercing damage.
Yeah.
What does that mean? No. Yeah. The arrow sticks you in the side of the face, goes through the back of your ear, blood spurts out. Like, that's, yes. Tricky. It's tricky. All right, so these, are the ever mysterious crit tables. We're going to make these available soon. I'm working on a logo. Tim is adapting them. These make all of this stuff come more to life. So there is page after page. I have these all on tabs. Piercing, blunt, unarmed, crit, large creatures. You can kill or be killed in one shot. Now, a DM does not have to use these to describe a blow. So even if you don't crit, I can say, you take a cut to the thigh, blood streams out of your upper leg and warmly flows down, you slip. I can do all that without these crits, but the crits are amazing. I have a lot more to say, but I'm going to pause, make sure I'm not missing any in the chat, Evelyn.
DCG mentioned something as well, which I think is a really good point. Feeling your damage helps your role-playing future turns. Also, limping, switching weapon hands, labored swings, etc. It helps. It definitely helps give you motivation for if for example, when Shorewin lost his eye, like the sight in his eye, he's now kind of role-playing himself differently. He's turning certain ways so that he's trying to best.
He's prone to a slap from the wrong side.
Yeah, exactly. And then just thinking about those things, if you're Kate and you've lost an arm, suddenly you have only one arm to work with. You can't use a buckler anymore, or you can't do two-weapon fighting. So it's all those things you have to take into account. You can't suddenly take a swig of rum in between turns.
Especially if you only have one hand. Hey, no, Steve, Bloodwild, you're exactly right. It was Run DMC. When Phantom Robert said it's tricky, I said it's tricky. Yeah, that was Run DMC. Absolutely. Fraley, you have the crit sheets, and if so, I haven't sent these out yet because I'm waiting for Tim and I to rework the logos and all the numbers. But if you have them already, good on you. And in the meantime, I've said this many, many times. The closest you're going to get. Oh my gosh, these things are looking rough and rough. These are the old Middle-earth role-playing crit tables. So until you can get the ever mysterious Tim crit tables, you can pull these off the web. They're available. They're the Iron Crown Enterprises MERP crit tables, and they're very similar. And yes, poor Cade. Harsh. Hey, real long shot. All right, so let's need some good advice. And this is 188 of Dragon Magazine. So I had 184 a minute ago. If you're a new role player and you don't have these Dragon Magazines, I want to reiterate, they're free. You can get them online, every single one. There is more content than you will get from any module, from any book. I don't care if you're playing 3, 3.5, 4, 5e, it doesn't matter. There is so much goodness in these old Dragon magazines, and it's all free. Look at that. The mullet! And about to be hit by his wife, I think, whatever's happening there. But it's roll, not roll. Mm-hmm. And the idea is putting a stress on role play. And we've talked about that before here on LMA, so I don't want to overly beat this, but I love these questions. So here's one. What do you like? What I miss? It's John and Jenny. It was John and Jenny. You're right. It's so true, Steve. Woo! Last night we were on. Thank you, Jay Birchfield. Good to see you, my son. Hey, you need kids that role play. So Jay Birchfield 3, that is my 19-year-old son. He's not just an active role player. He is fantastic at role play. He helped me get Blue Box started. He has done so much to push the channel forward. A lot of the emojis, the new, that's so that you cannot replace having a kid, which I think you have in mind for Esther, right?
Oh, she's already started making up stories, and she wants me to tell her all about Millie's adventures every night. And she says that, Lilith is her favorite.
Oh, not Millie? Lilith?
Lilith is her favorite. I mean, she likes Millie's stories, but she likes Lilith the best because she's pretty and she has flowers.
Oh, that's so cute. My son was always a bloodthirsty murderer, even at age 8. So you can have the whole spectrum there. You can have the child that wants to put flowers in, and you can have the child that wants to rip throats out and plunge daggers into kidneys. Either one is fine. Exactly. Oh yes, 888. Thank you so much. And yes, if you didn't see that, my boy plays D1 basketball. He's actually in Florida right now on a tournament. So we don't just role play. We actually are multi-talented. No, we're just a blessed. That sounded cocky. I didn't mean it that way. We're a blessed family. And thank you to all of you on the stream today. You help us really enjoy this. Highly recommend. No Thank You Evil. Yes. Steve. I think Steve McKissick is playing No Thank You Evil. With his daughter, yeah. Or was it John Stevens? One of those two. Yes, I've heard of I think it was actually John. So No Thank You Evil. If you have young kids and you're not ready to, so I introduced my kids to D&D at age 4 or 5, and I simplified it. But if you want something kind of geared toward them, No Thank You Evil is a great way to introduce young kids to D&D. Yes, that's a great thing.
We actually have the My Little Pony RPG.
I'm sorry, keep going. No, I don't want to hear that. No, move on.
But it actually uses a very similar character sheet to the D&D character sheet and has the.
It's My Little Pony. I can't. No. I can't do that. I'm PG. I'm not G.
There's dragons. But that's what Esther has. So we're gonna start doing that.
Carlos. Yes, Carlos has a good one, Josh. That's exactly right. So, well, Carlos has a lot of good stuff. In fact, we ran Lost Dog. That's kind of kid-friendly for Virtual Greyhawk Con. Carlos has a lot of good stuff. No, dinos, and Little Pony. Like, actually, dinosaurs go above My Little Pony. Like that's the My Little Pony is the low Smurfs. Smurfs are the lowest. They're below the screen here. But then My Little Pony and dinos. Okay, let's look at these questions. So participation, and thank you to your son made a wizard character named Dragon.
Nice.
That I love that. Can we toss MLP in the trash for the? Yes, exactly. Yes, 888. Little Pony steaks. Yes, Moose. I would eat a Little Pony steak. I for sure would. All right, so participation. I'm going to let you, can you read this, Evelyn? They're probably tired of hearing my voice. I'm going to pull this over here. Hang on real quick.
Make it bigger so I can see it.
Yeah, let me get this over so you can read it. 1 second. There you go. This right here. So
Okay,
this is scenario 1.
Bit of a delay. 1 sec. All right. So it says, DM, in our last game, when we left off, you were just about to fight Serpentine, the ancient red dragon that you have been stalking for months. And player 1, what? Where are we? Player 2, did we kill it? Where's my share of the treasure? Player 3, what character was I playing?
All right, so in the example above, the players have no idea what's going on. The time spent between gaming session has dulled their appetite for roleplay. They're not involved in the situation. At the end of the last session, the group was tense and ready for the encounter. Now they're so removed from the scenario, they will unthinkingly go through the motions of playing for the next 45 minutes to get back in the mood, imagining they are doing planning and slowly starting to have fun again. So you see, we deal with this in a couple of ways. And actually, I think I need to get better. So this is not me bragging. This is me sort of pushing myself. Evelyn, what do I do currently, and this could be good for all of our other streaming DMs, to get the players back in the action, and what could I do better than what I currently do?
Okay, so technically, for at least Greyhawk Awakening, there's 2 things that we're doing. The text-based RP helps us stay in character because it keeps us RPing when in between sessions, which is great.
Right.
And that helps kind of keep that rolling through. But for all the campaigns, including Greyhawk Awakening, having players actually describe things, either where we are, where we've been, and like how we view that thing, as a way to help us kind of capture both setting, as well as where we are as far as like since last session, not just like place in the world of the game, but where we're actually in the campaign as part of the party, and helps us understand how each of the characters internalizes what they are observing.
No, I love that, exactly. And so I think you're right. So the 2 things we do well, 1, the Discord, especially for Greyhawk Awakening. The Discord's very active, and that's fun. Keeps it active between the sessions so the players stay connected to whatever was the sort of the finishing part. But then secondly, I do every time the what happened last time. And you are my lore keeper. You always do a great job. But what I think I can do better, and I've only done this a few times, and I'm going to start doing this more, is provoking the players to describe what they see, what they hear. And I think this was a tip you got from Matt Mercer, if I remember right. Or
no, this was actually from Dragon Magazine.
From Dragon Mag. It was. Yes, you're right. It was.
Yes.
So
this was something we talked about.
I should have done this last week. As the players crunch, crunch, crunch in the snow, and I have all my sound effects, I could look to a Cade or to a Thomas, Alcott, and say, Alcott, what do you see as you look around the mountainside descending down Hook Mountain? And give the players a chance to describe the scene in contextual relevance to what I've already told them. And I think that helps them get immersed in the campaign. I need to do better at that. Yes?
Well, and you had Chris actually do that as Eamon.
I've done it a couple of times.
Up Hook Mountain.
Yes.
I remember that because you had him describe kind of what we were seeing, and I think it's really cool to kind of also kind of see how other players are visualizing things, because I might not visualize it exactly the same way.
Oh, that's such a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's right, yes.
It's usually generally in the
because I think my description should be the end all be all, and but actually we all have different voices in our head. So if I go to Chris or Jenny or Thomas, they might come up with something you didn't think of.
Right, exactly, and things that we're hearing or seeing that one of the other characters might not necessarily have caught on to. And so, like, actually, getting that sense of, oh, wait, there's this other thing that I didn't consider, is kind of a great way to help also bring the other players into understanding what the other characters are seeing and reacting to.
No, well said. All right, so hey everybody, provoke Cade to drink more rum, Redbeard. That's always easy. That's not a tough thing to do.
He just does it.
You spend 5 minutes recapping and away we go. Robert, I got to get better at that. My recaps take too long, and it's not Evelyn's fault. It's me. I got to be quicker. You hate having to prompt them, so I think. Prompting in the right way is okay. There's a certain kind of, like, if I'm prompting them to remember what they should have remembered already, yes, that bothers me. But if I'm prompting them to add to my story, that doesn't bother me. Thank you for the follow, Carl Brightwing, and the gift subs, Patrick, Ancient Gamer. So look, I have a funny story here. Crud, I don't have any down here. So, quick funny story about Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer. So, he is the most amazing contributor. He helps all of the streamers. He's big on Jay's channel. He's big on my channel. About 2 weeks ago, I started getting these books. I gave away one of these reprints through a group called Lightning Source here. They're all reprints of the old modules. I gave away the Hamlet one about a week ago. And when these boxes started coming, my wife looked at me and she said, "Did you order these?" I was like, I don't think I did. She said, "You don't remember what you order? They were to my name." And actually, they're right up the road from me. They're really close. And I'm like, I don't know where these are from. And we got into a little bit of a fight. Like, I was just ordering things and didn't remember. It was Patrick. He sent us, I've got like 20 books now that he has sent me of all these old modules. And so, despite your damage to my marriage, I am so appreciative of you, Patrick. It was awesome stuff. And I'm not lying. That's legit. You can ask my wife. All right, so let's go to scenario 2. Go with the flow. DM, the bugbears have 30 gold pieces on them. And then player 1, gee, that's a lot. I wonder why they're carrying so much. Player 2, and we never encounter bugbears this far south before. Player 3, that jerk Baron has a lot of money. Player 2, my friends, I smell a conspiracy. I think we should pay the good Baron a little visit. Unannounced, of course. So what you meant to say as the DM was 30 silver pieces. Do you correct yourself? So this happens to me all the time. And normally it's you, Evelyn, correcting me. So as a DM, it's okay. If you make a mistake, you decide if you need to adjust or not. If you said 30 gold and you meant 30 silver, do you really need to correct? Maybe you do. You've got to decide on your campaign. But as a player, thank you, Renreb, for the resub. Much appreciated. Man, we just have the best viewers. I love you guys. All right, so, but as a player, Evelyn, I'm gonna correct you just a bit now. You ready? No, you're not ready. I can see you're not ready. We gotta fight. Ready, fight. No. So don't always push back on the DM when they say something wrong. You can catch them after the chat, after the stream, or after the game. And I don't mind being pushed back on, because I get that a lot, because I make a lot of mistakes. But you also don't want to interrupt the flow of the game, especially on Twitch. So I'm going to turn it over to you now and let you just blast me in any way you would like to. But DM making mistakes, player correcting DM mistakes, and your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to. I try to clarify things for myself. I mean, that's the main reason I usually ask.
I have video. Evelyn.
I know.
I have video of your stank face, like just looking totally pissed off at me.
Well, that's usually when you're trying to kill me.
Okay, fair.
But no, I mean, for the most part, as far as when I ask about things, I might not do the best at asking correctly. I apologize. But I do intend for them to be just trying to clarify things for myself, because I might have misheard and I'm trying to make sure I didn't mishear. So, yeah, I don't ever want to do that. I apologize.
No, I didn't mean to make you apologize. Now my chatters are going to hate me. Making you apologize was not my goal. All right, so Phantom said one of his players is playing a character who acts as a bodyguard to one of the other characters. That's kind of like Brim and Gimbal. He's playing him as increasingly paranoid regarding. I love that. No, that's awesome. What a great, yes, that's really cool. Well done.
You're just the mom of the group.
Yeah, no doubt. Sure, I get that. You're not the DM. Josh, we don't already know. Okay, so let's come back up here to Dragon Mag, and let's look at the third. So, the impossible situation. Can you read that, Evelyn?
I was going to say one more thing to the previous point as well. There's different ways I feel like the DM and the players can handle a situation like that before the players spiral out of control about crazy conspiracy.
Right.
Like, maybe there's, they look around and they find a couple of dead adventurers in the corner, and that's where the 30 gold pieces came from. Like, it's just, if you misspeak, sometimes, I know that I did myself when we were playing Honey Heist. I said something wrong, and I was like, well, actually, there's okay, we're gonna do this before things just completely explode out of control. So sometimes, it's if you make a mistake, you can deal with it one of two ways. Say, oh, I meant to say this, or you can make it make sense in the context of the situation.
No, exactly. Well, really well said. Thank you. By the way, for everybody, happy Thanksgiving. We got a good show tonight. Lots of folks on, and we wish you all the best for the holiday tomorrow. I know your streaming options are limited tonight, which is probably why you're here. Nothing better on, so I'm grateful for it. Let's go to scenario 3, the impossible situation, and why don't you read that, Evelyn?
Okay, it says, DM, the room heats up as the rest of the house catches fire. Smoke is billowing up the staircase. Player 1, whoa, somebody get a rope, and who's got rope? Player 2, we left it behind when we used it to climb that cliff. What do we do? You begin to understand the meaning of the phrase smoke inhalation. So,
it's the impossible situation, which DMs can put players in. There's no easy solution. There's no monsters to fight with head-to-head, no death traps, clever NPCs. These situations are not necessarily bad ones. They actually present the best opportunity for gaming because players must work together to use clever thinking to escape. A truly impossible situation cannot be solved through the use of brute force or magical items. Only inspiration and downright craftiness can do it. So I think that's a great thing to do with roleplay. I break in my mind roleplay into a handful of categories. One is the obvious stuff. It's the player chat in the inn. So Evelyn, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What's one of my favorite places to kind of push the players to roleplay?
When we're on the road, in between places is a big one.
Exactly, around the campfire. Yes. So I love that. That's a great place. Backstories and player interaction. They're on the road. They're off a bit, and they've got a campfire going, and they got their horses around in a circle, and sort of encourage them to role play. So that's one. Combat. we've talked about. Then interaction with NPCs. They're in the inn, Osler Gundygood, Jeru Ashstaff, or if you're on our Sunday stream, role-playing with Shalelu, or the mayor, Mayor Shreed, who was
Sully.
running... Sully, exactly, yes, all of that. But then there is this magical thing that can happen with puzzles. So we had one in our Rune Lords campaign
That's
Sunday.
What I figured out too.
Yeah, okay, so go ahead.
The coin situation between Kate and Nixon. Yeah, so we were at Thistletop, and we came across this puzzle where there was this structure that looks like a giant column that looked like stacked coins, like on edge, or the edges of a pile of stacked coins. And there were slots in the wall, in the lower parts of the wall, in 2 spots. And Kate and Ixon were just competing to figure out the puzzle first. And Solomon and Irda just kind of kept like searching around for things because that was just in character for them to do, is just like try to get to the next thing. Whereas of course like Ixon, with his giant brain and needing to like solve all the things because that is what he does, and Kate's just throwing things at the wall to see what stuck because that's the Kate thing to do, and just that was such a great like character RP instance, and when they figured it out, I mean, it was just things like that are such interesting things to look at as far as like the way characters will approach those things depending on a lot of aspects of who that character is.
Exactly. So well said. So you've got combat, you've got NPC interaction, you've got player-to-player interaction, you've got sort of opportunities on the road. You have combat, as I said earlier, the stories of how they fight, but then puzzles and tricks and riddles. These all make great role play. So, more recently, Ancient Gamer, thank you so much. I want to give a hand to Patrick again. Thank you for all of the books. Patrick is the best, and is Jay streaming tonight? Because I thought he was off tonight. I think it's why he ran last night. Maybe I've got that off now, but anyway. So, let's go to even more recently. In the Giants, you had the sound of the stone rolling down the hallway. Yep. And that created role play as well, and that's a different kind of puzzle. If you're an old school role player, and I think we have a few of them. See you, Patrick. I've done this before, but you used to have these graph paper books, and in your graph paper, you'd have, let's say, something like this, and here would be a secret door, and then here would be a boulder waiting for you in the middle of the hallway with an arrow coming down. And when the players walk this way and hit the tripwire, the boulder comes down. That happened actually to the players in our Rune Lords campaign. Graph paper, this is how we all started if you're old like me. And it is glorious. So talk about that, Evelyn, because you guys, that was a pretty fun thing happened, and somebody got really clipped by that boulder.
Yeah, Kate did. So we heard the sound of the boulder coming, and I feel like everybody reacted in the most in character ways.
They did.
What was going on? Because if I'm remembering correctly, Alcott was like first in line for that boulder to hit, and he just kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna do the smart thing and move out of the way. Kate, of course, had to be a little bit boisterous and
Cade? Boisterous? Really? What?
And so he ended up slipping and getting clipped by the boulder. Amen was actually, I think, out of the way pretty much, and then Irda just dove to save Shalelu because Shalelu was had a big target right in the middle of her, and then of course Cade's, when he got clipped, his rum fell to the floor and his glass exploded.
I know, he was so upset. All right, so
he got healed.
Yeah, he did. So we're gonna wrap up here quickly, and thank you, Josh, And Roger, I see it. So Jay is streaming. So Tuesday was his regular Thursday. So his Wednesday still on. We're going to raid him. But before I raid him, let me show you something. This is my little secret here I wanted to show tonight. And I've just started doing this. Let me set it up.
All right.
So as a DM, I roleplay so many different NPCs. And in any given session, as I said earlier, it could be 1 or 2 or 3. Like, I think this last one I only did Ostler and Ashrin and Brother Smith. But other ones, I have 20 or 30 NPCs that I'm role-playing. How do you track them? Especially wigs. No wigs. No wigs, Vivi. I'm not doing wigs. But notes. Exactly. Yeah. Robert, so check this out. I just started this. And this is for our Rune Lords campaign. Let me pull this up. These are the things that the players need for NPCs to run that castle, that keep. And so I have the names there, but then more importantly, what I'm starting to track are not just what they look like, but the accents I use, because I do so many different accents. Sometimes they're English, sometimes they're Scottish, sometimes they're sort of vaguely African. So I'm now putting in a column here, slightly pompous English accent, gruff common accent, hackly English accent, a lower female voice. Faint, that was not supposed to be giant, that's supposed to be faint. Let me fix that. Faint Scottish Cockney accent. So I put these now into my NPCs, and I'm going to start tracking these because I don't want to have to go back and rewatch my stream every time to remember how I played Byrne, or how I played Galen, or how I played Yaj Tox, or how I played all of these different NPCs. Because you, as a DM, you have hundreds of these over time if you're a voice acting DM. So I'm starting to track these now in this manner. And if you guys have better idea, more in personality type, personalities, that's easier for me to remember. I know their personalities sort of intuitively. It's the accents I struggle to remember. What did I do with that one? Was it low? Was it high? Was it this? Was it that? So whatever for you as a DM helps you keep notes on your NPCs, and that is a great way to bring them to life and keep them consistent, which is especially important when you're on Twitch, because everything is on video and people remember. Byrne doesn't sound the same that he sounded last time, so you have to work on that. All right, so what did I miss here, Evelyn? Oh, thank you, Vivi. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Yes, effusive, sarcastic, serious, manic. Yes, Robert. I remember that stuff. I know their personalities. It's the accents I forget a lot. So that's what helps me.
How does Ashrin sound again?
Oh yeah, Josh, a good idea. A movie character that you're emulating. I like that. That's a really good idea. I love that. Angel from the Rockford Files. Man, you are aging yourself there, brother. That's really old. Do not underestimate the value of body language. Yes. So you've seen me do that. The mayor in Magnabar, who you hated, or Byrne. I don't have my glasses down here, but not Byrne. Oh, crud. The guy in Sandpoint.
You got mad at me for not knowing his name, and I
know. Exactly.
Ronald Quinn!
Yes, exactly. So the body language, the glasses, the motions. Byrne, he does lots of eyebrows, and he's a bit like Shorewin, with the way he uses the brows.
There's something very Shakespearean about Byrne.
Exactly. He is more Shakespearean, and he is quite expressive with his face. And what did you say? And like he's a little bit more like Matt Mercer. I think is some of what he does. But it's so much fun to play these NPCs and PCs. Shush, old man. Oh, to be fair, you use a tweaker accent, Redbeard. What's a tweaker accent? I don't even know what that sounds like. And can I do? Oh, Joe Abercrombie. We've talked about him in our Twitch. I've been reading his novels. I just reread his first two from his newest series. Now I'm going back and reading First Law. His stuff. I cannot recommend a better fantasy author. Do yourselves a favor. If you don't know Joe Abercrombie, you don't know great fantasy. Let me pull this up here. So all of these books, before they're hanged, and right there, The Blade itself, those are his older ones, and then he has newer ones that are fan-freaking-tastic. If you like D&D, you will love Joe Abercrombie's novels. They are raw. Now, they're not PG. So let me warn anyone, don't give them to your 7-year-old kid. The F word abounds in his books, but the authorship is absolutely fantastic.
We've hit 800 followers, John.
Oh, we got to 800! Woo! 800, we're like 106.
Thank you, guys!
Thank you. And we're like 170 something subs. Thank you to all of our followers. Thank you to our subs. I love Terry Pratchett, Redbeard, another good author. But I'm telling you, so my probably top 2 favorite authors right now are Patrick Rothfuss and Joe Abercrombie. Those two, their stuff is incredible. All right, so we're going to raid Jay. Before we do, any final comments from you, Evelyn?
Not that we have time for tonight.
All right. And any other questions from any of our viewers before we raid Jay?
Any other questions?
Looks like they're all good.
All right. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you. If you don't know Jay Scott, I don't know what rock you're under. Jay Scott is the patron of all things Greyhawk. He is old school. His campaigns have been running now for 40 years. 40, not 14. 40-year campaigns. He supports the community. He's a friend of our channel. He's a personal friend of mine. I'm going to surprise him and come up to his town here really soon. And we love Jay, and thank you to all of our followers. 800 of you and 170 of you are subs. If you're watching tonight and you like what you heard, old school sort of D&D chat, nothing special, I know. This was not the best thing I've ever done, but it's okay. Constructed Chaos. You actually have to tune into one of our channels and watch our game, not just this Tuesdays and Sundays. They are so awesome. Thank you, Robert. Oh, we got another follower. DJ Concarne. Welcome, DJ Concarne. Good to have you. You're number 801. And as we raid Jay, again, to all of our mad chatters, to all of our subs, to all of our Blue Box fans, we love you. Big. I can't do these hearts very well. I think that's pretty good. I got that.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
right there. All right. And we are raiding Jay now.
Yay! There we go.